Okay, I'm here at Innovation Day with Joe Marino, who is the Director of Product at HaptX. Joe, welcome.
Thank you, happy to be here.
There's a crowd of people around a stall, a booth that you have. There's an interesting looking glove. Tell me, what does HaptX do?
So in short, HaptX brings touch to virtual interactions. We want to make the virtual world something that you can naturally reach out, grab, and feel, and use like you would use the physical world that's around you. Long-term vision has always been to replicate kind of the Star Trek holodeck experience, be able to have whatever virtual world you want around you, and try to make that feel as close to real life as possible. The product we have here today is our HaptX gloves. It's actually an early development kit version of our HaptX gloves. And this is the kind of first step in accomplishing that full vision of having the whole virtual world around you.
Great. So tell me, how would you use this glove?
So HaptX gloves enable you to have your real hands in the virtual environment. There's two modes of feedback. You have tactile sensations, where you can reach out and touch an object and you'll feel the pressure at the contact points of the object you're touching with. There's also a force feedback element that prevents your hands from squeezing through the virtual objects that you're interacting with. A lot of what we found people want to do in VR is reach out and touch and grab things, and this enables a lot of that.
So what sort of applications might you see for that with this extra sense of touch?
So there's a lot of people doing design and training applications with VR these days. They've found that it is a lot less expensive to make your environments virtually than make them physically, but you have to kind of learn how to use the virtual world to train it. You have a set of controllers, you don't get to touch anything at all maybe. So with the gloves, your real hands are in there. And whether you're trying to design a next generation car and want to sit there and physically feel that steering wheel and interact with the buttons and knobs, or you have a hazardous environment that you want to be training in, and you really don't want to have the person there, but give them the sense of the space virtually. The gloves let you do that just by putting the user in there and saying, here are your hands, go and do the process that you know how to do, or that you're being trained how to do. And then they can apply the muscle memory that they learn there into either future training or the actual on-the-job work.
So VR technology as a whole, everybody has an opinion on the future of VR, right? So where do you see VR going? What will be the really killer applications in future, whether that includes this haptic touch or not? Where's it going?
Well, we obviously hope that it does include this haptic touch. So VR has been around for a long time. 80s, there was the kind of the first kind of 2D displays that people, they have the headsets on, but they were big and bulky, and as far as the consumer was concerned, VR died. But industry kept using and advancing VR since then and up till today, and has found a lot of applications for design and training tools where they want to test their new car model and just kind of visualize it virtually before they start making the models. Right now, that's often done in maybe like a VR cave environment. Consumer headsets these days have definitely expanded that so that people can actually be at their desk and do VR design reviews. But we want to kind of bring that the next step further, where you're not just looking at what you're reviewing, you're actually interacting, moving, manipulating, grabbing. Take the next generation car model that you have all the VR components, and let's build that car from the ground up before the first prototype parts even end up in your hands.
One of the things I've always found interesting with VR is people's first reaction when they use a particular VR headset or a particular VR application. It can be very polarizing. What's people's experience, or what's your experience when people first use your product?
There's definitely a kind of a moment of joy when they get that first contact. One of our first interactions is there's kind of a rain cloud in front of you. You kind of put your hand out and you can feel these virtual drops of rain hitting your palm, and you just see the smile on the person's face. And we often ask, is it working? And we can just tell, oh yeah, they're getting what they're supposed to get. People don't expect to be able to feel the virtual world. Like, you don't feel the movies that you watch, you don't feel what you see on your TV screen. So when all of a sudden you have your hands there, you have a new level of immersion that really hasn't been available before.
So you worked in partnership with our sister company, Synapse, in the development of this. What specifically was Synapse's involvement?
So it's no secret that hardware is hard And startups are very, very bad at, for the most part, there's many exceptions, but for the most part, startups are good at designing something that's a great experience, that kind of shows the direction of the technology, but having that being durable, reliable, manufacturable at a cost point that actually works is really challenging. So we got to a point where we had a kind of a proof of concept development kit that we could show off, but the number of parts and the number of hours to actually manufacture that wasn't reasonable for the customer set that we have. So we engaged with Synapse to both improve the design, keep a similar architecture, but take the components from 3D printing, make it injection molding, find the stuff that doesn't have the durability and longevity that we need for a product that would last several years, and help us do the testing, investigate the materials, and validate that hardware will actually work as long as it should. And as a startup who's relatively young, you don't have the design experience, but then you also don't have the network of manufacturing groups to engage with who can help you actually make things at scale. The last thing you want to try to do is have a team that can build the hardware well and also design it to last long, but then also build a manufacturing line and train a manufacturing team. It's just too much for one small company to do. So by working with Synapse, we were able to leverage not only their good mechanical design resources, but also their network of vendors and suppliers and the relationships they have previously built. They would be able to get a vendor on the phone that would never even return an email from us.
Sure. This is what they do, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that whole kind of NPI, the new product integration and product development, is really what we were looking at, and Synapse is kind of set apart from the rest and their capabilities there.
Got it. And that experience of working with Synapse, the kind of day-to-day stuff, how was that?
It was great. Yeah. It's always nice when the engineers on so I'm project manager for the most part for this project, and when the engineers are happy that they're able to get the response back quickly, when they're able to just talk directly to the other engineers over there and they get to converse one-on-one and I just get updates of how things are going, I'm always happy. When I get told, oh, we reached out, there's 2 more emails that have been sent, we haven't heard anything back, I'm like, okay, I'll step in, I'll help, talk to their boss and figure out why we're not hearing anything back, because we're on tight timelines. So Synapse really recognized how important it was to have consistent progress throughout the whole project, and we're very responsive.
Great. Joe, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.